21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Most people don't realize it, but wellness, one of the chief components of wellness is sexual wellness. Because studies show that when you're sexually gratified and you're in a good relationship, you're better at everything. You're better at business, you're better at parenting, you're better at, being a brother, sister, husband, that kind of thing. It could be that, do you realize that most all men, 90% of men at some point in their life, are very aware of the fact that they're finishing before their partner? That a lot of men, this isn't just clinical PE. Do you realize that even in healthy couples, that the average man finishes in 5 minutes and 40 seconds of penetration and thrusting? The average female takes 18 minutes. There's actually a medical term for it. It's called the arousal gap. So there are products that are needed and make better intimacy, even in people that don't suffer from PE, that it's something that normal people have to accommodate. I was introduced at an AUA conference in California in 2020. AUA is American Urological Association. And the chairman introduced me, and before I gave up to talk, he goes, "This guy knows more about premature ejaculation than anyone on the planet." So he introduced me, and I took the microphone. I said, "Just in case I die in the next 2 weeks, make sure they don't put that on as my epitaph on my gravestone without an asterisk explaining why I'm so learned." It wasn't that I had the issue myself. It was that, I run a company, and, most urologists, most therapists that treat ED, PE, all these other issues, they spend 20% of their time. With us, I spend 100% of my time. I talk to our customers, I talk to doctors, I talk to psychologists. That's why a lot of people think that I know more about the issue almost than anybody. Some of the early obstacles, if not the biggest obstacle, was we were entering a market to where there were a bunch of products that were ineffective. So up until Promescent came along, people had, sought treatments. And because of the nature of what the product was, that it was our initial flagship or our hero product, that there's a lot of embarrassment and a lot of shame. They don't feel comfortable going to a doctor face to face. So people were seeking cures online, over the internet. They were self-diagnosing. And I wish I was kidding when I tell you this, but I'm not. This is 100% certain. In 2012, shortly after launching this business, we did a search, and there was 197 products online. Shark fin, deer antler extract, all these herbs, plants, they were ineffective. And they were companies that were just trying to take advantage of how desperate people were. So when you're a small company and people haven't heard of you, you're not Pfizer, you're not GlaxoSmithKline, and all of a sudden you have the treatment, people go, "That sounds great, but I don't want to be disappointed again. I just don't want to have to order another product and find out." So for us, having medical credibility, having medical certainty was extremely important. So I decided early on that we were going to hire a team of pharmaceutical sales reps. So we did this. We sent people into doctors' offices, educating them. And then we spent close to $500,000 on a clinical trial. No other product in this category had clinical trials. So a clinical trial, if it's IRB certified and statistically significant, means that you power a trial by having enough people, the number, so it's out of the range of just coincidence. And then the amount of satisfaction people find using your product as opposed to non-prudent using your product is strong enough that it's out of that error category. So we spent a significant amount of money. We hired pharmaceutical reps, and we educated the physicians. And then we quickly became the darlings of the urological community. So 2,200 urologists mention us by name. They literally, if you come in, you say, "I need to last longer for my partner," they'll tell you Promescent is the solution. That was money well spent. And people would ask me, wasn't that a big risk? I said, no, our product works. So there's no certainties in life that any clinical trial is going to be successful, but I was very confident that we would be successful because I know the product works. So the money that we spent up front between hiring pharmaceutical reps and having a clinical trial for a small company was significant, $1.5 million, but it paid back 100 times over the years by having that medical certainty. So if you look at some of our competitors and you go to their website, it'll say, doctors love our product. It'll have a Getty stock photo, you know what I mean, of some guy in a lab coat, doctor certified. If you go to our website, you'll see Dr. Mohit Kira, who's the president of the Sexual Medicine Society of North America, doing a video touting the effectiveness of Promescent. You will see Dr. Larry Lipschultz of Baylor University with his name and everything else doing a tutorial telling people how effective our product is. You'll see Dr. Amy Perlman, Dr. Rachel Rubin. So you'll see tons of doctors that you can quantify, you can look up, you can see their credentials, their medical chops, and you're very impressive because they're the leading urologists in sexual medicine, as opposed to a guy in a Getty stock photo in a lab coat saying doctors love this. Now, that being said, the average American consumer is not that bright. And some people just go, oh, they're both doctor certified. But we're counting on the fact that hopefully a lot of people will go, wait, there's a big difference between seeing just a guy in a lab coat say doctors love this, as opposed to looking at the president of the International Society of Sexual Medicine or the president of the Sexual Medicine Society of North America. So one of the differentiators, one of the things that really led to our success was getting the medical credibility and the medical certainty. If you're launching a product like we are, the best road to do that is to differentiate. And there's many different ways you can differentiate. For us, it was having medical credibility, having medical certainty, separating ourselves from our competitors, who there were many who just basically made a bunch of wild claims without any real medical certainty. So we decided to do clinical trials under an IRB certified statistically significant trial, and at the same time to be referred and touted by many of the leading sexual experts that people see, Dr. Ian Kerner, Dr. Larry Lipschultz, Dr. Mohit Kira. So in summary, the basis for us and our success was having data, clinical trials, certified clinical trials, and having the medical community and the leading doctors in sexual medicine all come out and put their name on board and say Promescent is the best option. That was our differentiator. That's what really turned the tide and made us successful. It's very important having a community of buyers and having a community of people that will do testimonials and spread the word among them. We work with influencers, we work with YouTube types, but we always make sure that they ask. If someone just says, oh my God, I can get a bunch of views to your site, but they don't ask for the product, they don't ask for the data, they don't ask for the medical credibility, we don't want to work with them. We want someone that does their homework and says, after exhaustive research, after really trying this product or having friends of mine try it, that we know it works. So rather than go on, establish a community where people, all they want to do is be compensated for spreading the word. We wanted people who have less emphasis on compensation, more emphasis on the credibility of the product and making sure that the product works. A lot of our growth has been organic. People referring friends, people referring family members, people telling others, hey, I've used this product and it really works. One of the things I think that makes me very unique, kind of a unicorn, is I was an entrepreneur and I started a semiconductor engineering business. And I was very successful and I sold it and I retired 15 years ago at the age of 53. So then people said, you reinvented yourself as the CEO of a sexual medicine company? There's, semiconductors are computer chips. And they go, there's no synergy there. How did you possibly go from high-tech semiconductor engineering to sexual wellness products? And I tell people, I never really changed my philosophy. I never changed my approach because as a CEO, this is what I can tell you from my experience. I don't care what your product is, whether it's semiconductors, whether it's sexual wellness, there's certain things that will make you successful. Number one is you get up every single day and you work as long as you can and as hard as you can. You keep your eyes and ears open. Anyone who says, I'm going to figure out the market and drive people to this product is really not, in my estimation, doing the best thing. The best thing you can do is listen to your customer base, find out what they need, find out where they get the information for what they need, and then develop a product that meets their needs and go into their communities, go into their mindsets, go into the websites they search, go into the podcasts they listen to, and do it with credibility. The one thing I think that a lot of people get caught up in, they try to be too cute and they try to be, controversial. We've never tried to be controversial. We've never tried to be too cute. What we've always done, we like to bring levity. We like to have a certain sense of humor, but we're information driven. When I first started my company, I had a lot of criticism. People said, is that an educational site or are you trying to sell product? I said both, because I believe the more information you have, and I believe that the more learned you are, the more intelligent you are about this problem that people are having, the more likely you are to go to Promescent, the more likely you are to go to our website and buy our products. Because I tell people, the reason I do all that with the education and the doctor testimonials and everything, our goal is to see how many people can buy our product one time and then maybe be disappointed, never come back. Our goal is to find people that actually will benefit from our product, use it repeatedly, then come back, because we have, in addition to our male delay spray, we have lubes and we have female arousal gels and we have vibrators and all these things. And we find that we have a mantra, and our mantra is as such: if we get eyes to our site, we get business. If we get business, we get repeat business. If we get repeat business, they start buying across product lines and tell their friends. But the most important thing is you want people to buy the right product for the right reason. And then just as importantly, you want them to dose it and use it correctly for the best result, because the best result leads to repeat purchases and leads to additional products being purchased. So I do educate people, and I'm not embarrassed about that. I'm proud of that fact. And, we actually have links that go outside of our website to clinical trials and other institutions, because we believe that if you go there and you see us being mentioned and you're impressive, you'll come back. Because a lot of sites, a lot of our competitors, you go to their site, all it is buy. If you try to log out, oh my God, 20% off, don't leave, buy our product. I don't beg anyone. I don't throw discounts because our products work and they're good. So our goal is to educate you, because we feel the more information you have, the higher the probability you're going to purchase our product. We also want to educate you so that you're using it and dosing it correctly for the highest probability of success. I think one of the things that became really apparent to anyone who worked at this company since I was employee number one, I've done every job in this company. So a lot of my employees realize that there's nothing I won't do for the success of the company. I know a lot of times people get put up in the ivory tower. They're like, oh, that's beneath me. I'm the CEO, so I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that. We've had situations, one in particular, where we ran low on one particular SKU and we had to change packaging. It's the same product, but sometimes our Walmart or our CVS, because we're in both Walmart and our CVS or Target, have different packaging. So we literally had to relabel stuff. Same product, but we ran out low on one. And so we had 3 employees that were sitting there 8 hours a day changing these labels. And I actually went down there and helped them. And everyone's like, aren't you too busy? And I said, I'm never too busy to show my employees that I'm here with you, that we're all in this together. And then afterwards would go out and have dinner. You know what I mean? And I think it's very important as a CEO in showing leadership. It's not just, I'm too good for this, I'm too good for that, my time is too valuable. We have something on our site called OLARC, which is an interactive chat feature where we can actually talk to customers right when they're on the site looking at our product. And I used to work that 2 hours a week. And people go, you don't have enough people? I go, we have plenty of people that can do it. But as a CEO, I need to talk to people. I need to find out, how did you find our product? What brought you here? What podcast did you listen to? What blog did you read? How are you dealing with this? To understand the customer's mindset is to really help me unlock the key to getting more people to our site, to getting more people satisfied with our products. So it's very important in my maturation as a business person to understand, as a CEO, don't lock yourself away and just get reports and sit there. Interface with your employees daily, interface with your customers daily, interface with doctors who refer our product. I think it's extremely important that we touch all of those bases, that we really and truly are in the trenches, so to speak. Instead of being up in the ivory tower directing your troops, go down with your troops, see what daily struggles they deal with, find out their mindset, and that will help you effectively support your employees. That will help you have your employees be as sharp as possible. I think it's also very important as a CEO to have an exit strategy. I don't believe that you get to the end of the road and then go, oh my God, what are we going to do now? You have to plan. You have to literally position the company from day one to where you want to be, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or 2 decades, 20 years. For us, the exit strategy has always been one of two things: to either have a joint venture with a big, billion-dollar pharmaceutical company that have very strong advertising and SEO efforts. We face challenges as a small company in sexual wellness that bigger companies with more resources don't face. We get taken down on Amazon, we get taken down on eBay and all these sites because, oh my God, this is a, sexual product. We have a product that treats sexual wellness, but we have board certified urologists and therapists and medical clinical trials and everything. But sometimes these companies just have bots that take you down. And you have to go through all these processes, get back up and advertise. These bigger, larger companies don't have that because they're billion-dollar companies. So if they're a big pharmaceutical company, or they happen to be a company like Trojan, which is Church and Dwight, or Lifestyles, and now we're in CVS, we're in Target, we're in Walmart, we're in Meijer, all these different retail locations. You have to have expertise in driving people to retail as well. The bigger companies are better than that because they got 40, 50 products on shelf. We have 1 or 2. So we've always wanted to have a joint venture or maybe a total acquisition at some point. We are now becoming very attractive because our profit margins are extremely solid. Our loyalty from our customers is extremely solid, but we need to take it to the next level. People always ask me, can you keep growing? And I laugh and I go, okay, it was very difficult to grow from 50,000 to 1 million because we didn't have a big reputation. We didn't have a profitability. We were raising money. I tell people now we're 12 million, going to go to 20 million, but we're profitable. We're paying dividends. We have the resources to do those things. But this market is enormous. This market is hundreds of millions of dollars. We don't have those kind of resources. So now we've provided a proof of concept. We've showed people loyalty. Customers have ordered from us 40, 50, 60 times over 4 or 5 years. So it's time for that partnership with a big company that has consumer packaging and retail experience. Another thing that I think is extremely important that we've really leaned into is you have to be a good community member and a good partner, and you have to give back. Right now, it's, Movember, it's Male Health Month. And so we give a portion of all of our sales of our men's products to men's prostate cancer. We do the same thing in another month for women's breast cancer. There's almost 5 to 6 times a year where we give a percentage of our sales to a charity. I think that shows that this is not just about being profitable. It's not just about making money, but it's also about being a good citizen, being a good community partner, and showing people that you can be successful and compassionate at the same time. The one thing I will tell anyone listening to this podcast, if you just want to verify what I've told you about how robust our medical presence is and how I educate people, go to our website. If you're interested in any of our products, go to our website. We're available. We're the #1 best-selling sexual enhancement product on Amazon. We're in Target. We're in Walmart. We're in CVS. We're in HEB. We're in Wegmans. We're in Meijer. But I tell people, start at promescent.com. That's PROMESCENT. Start at promescent.com for this reason. Like I stated, we want you to buy the right product for the right reason, and we want you to use it correctly. That gives us the highest probability of success. That gives you the highest probability. So if you go to our website, you will see testimonials from doctors. You'll see tutorials on how to dose the product, how to use the product. You can buy it. We're very comfortable. We're set up. You can buy it wherever it's available. But we want to make sure you're buying the right product, you're using it correctly. So always start at promescent.com. That's where you get educated. That's where you learn the proper product for whatever you're searching for. That's when you learn how to properly use it. So again, start at promescent.com. That is where you will get the information to make the right choices.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.